from the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Louie Butko.
Dominic Davis has thrown 2 passes this year. He's completed them both. 8 seconds to go. Montreal down by 7. They're on the Hamilton 21. Davis hasn't thrown a pass tonight. He throws one here. It's intercepted. Tiger Cats intercepted. And it's Cam Kelly who gets the interception, and that will end the game. Well, what a finish that was.
Wow. RJ Broadhead and Luke Tasker with the call as heard right here on the Ticats Audio Network. Louie Butko, happy Friday. Thanks for joining us as the Ticats pick up their second win of the season, defeating the Montreal Alouettes at home last night, 24-17, improved to 2-5 on the season, and yeah, even at 2-5, move into a tie for second place and the right to host a home playoff game. Yeah, lots of season to get to, but still nice to be back in a playoff spot, especially with 4 of the next 5 games against the team ahead of you, the Toronto Argonauts. They take on the Red Blacks on Sunday, so we'll see how that plays out. And, of course, we'll get you set for that game all next week here on Ticats Today. But lots to get into in last night's game. We'll have RJ Broadhead join us right here on the show, fresh off the call last night. We'll get his thoughts on the Ticats win. We'll hear from Coach O. We'll hear from Dane Evans. We'll hear from Matthew Shiltz. And we'll hear from Cam Kelly as well. As yes, maybe it wasn't the prettiest of wins, but the Hamilton Tiger Cats do pick up the victory and improve to 2-5 on the season. Just running through some of the key stats. Dane Evans, efficient, didn't throw an interception, and for how many interceptions he threw through the first 4 games, which was 8, he threw 2 a game through the first 4 games. That's not good enough. He knew it wasn't good enough. He fumbled it a couple of times too, but he has really cleaned up his game and has been looking real sharp. Yes, just 13 of 18. Matthew Shiltz was in there a lot. I don't know what they're doing with this quarterback package thing, but it's working. I mean, it worked last night. Matthew Shiltz, the leading rusher for the Ticats. Obviously, you don't want your quarterback to be the leading rusher like Dane Evans was on the season going into last night's game. But Matthew Shiltz, 42 yards. He was also 7 of 10 for 44 yards through the air. Stephen Dunbar, his CFL leading 5th reception, touchdown reception of the season to go along with 102 yards. Again, Dane finding guys all over the field. Keandre Smith having a catch. Tim White, a bit of a quieter game from him, just 2 catches for 15 yards. Braylon Addison coming up big on rushing and on through the air. So, yeah, the Ticats come up big, and we haven't even talked about the defense. Wow, Micah Johnson getting his first sack as a Ticat, and he liked it so much, he got another. Julian Hauser, his team leading 5th sack. Dylan Wynn getting in on the party, so the Ticats having 5 sacks last night. You had Cam Kelly's interception at the end. You had Richard Leonard's forced fumble. I mean, it was a great team effort. Mike Domagala's tackles on special teams. It was a great team effort for the Hamilton Tiger Cats as they pick up the win. And for more on last night's game, let's hear from the head coach and president of football ops. Here is Orlando Steinauer as he spoke after the win.
Pressure on the quarterback always helps, and I thought they got off the ball well and made them uncomfortable a few times in there early, and especially when they were working with the wind, which helps, and so that's always going to be a factor in the games here. And yeah, I thought it was pretty consistent for the most part, even though you don't have to always get them on the ground. Sometimes being close counts. We'll look at everything, Steve. I think right now the difference is we found a way to win when we hadn't found a way, up to this point. And so very often, obviously, that's it. So, we're looking into everything. We're actually getting some critical first downs. We're running the ball a little bit. We're playing a little bit better complementary football, and we haven't arrived, but we're growing and we're building. Well, you hope so. For sure. You should, I think everybody should be happy. We should always be happy with a win. I think the difference is we shouldn't be satisfied. And I think there's a big difference. I'd rather coach off of what some may label an ugly or a non-pretty win, whatever you want to say. Those are always better to coach off of. The key is to win. And, and it's an Eastern Division game, and we're at home, and And so, yeah, I hope there'll be a little bit of momentum that would build here. Yeah, I think the game's just slowed down for him a little bit. I think he's confident. Him and Roll have a great relationship, and him and Simone have a great relationship. And I just mean on the field. So, yeah, I just think it's also on the athlete to want to get better, and take hard coaching and that sort of thing. But, you can't make the plays for the players, so credit him for making the plays. Yeah, we knew that Matt was going to play some tonight, and that was a plan going in. Where we sprinkle it in is always ongoing. Sometimes things keep rolling. Sometimes it's the plays that we want to run in that area of the field. But, yeah, we knew, but it wasn't like cookie cutter scripted that, hey, you're in play 12.
That is Orlando Steinauer, and as a reminder, full scrums available at ticats.ca. Let's hear from QB1. Here's Dane Evans. Here's what he had to say after the win.
No, hey, but you know what? We won. So, like we said earlier in the week, 4-point swing against the East, 2 for us, 2 not for them. Win's a win. It's a lot easier to coach off of wins. So, no, yeah, I mean, game's really not ever away in the CFL, right, with the last 3 minutes and all that. But, yeah, we were rolling a little bit. Honestly, I feel like that's how we can play all the time, I think the biggest thing was, it's going to sound so stupid, but just nobody was thinking. We were just all out there playing, reacting, doing what we do, doing what we did all week in practice, and just went and did it in the game, And that's what I've been trying to tell you. I was like, there's no, magic speech. You just got to go do it. And we do it all the time in practice, and we finally went and did it in the third quarter. Yeah, I think you're right. It might just be too soon and all, but like I said, I feel like when we're rolling, we should score every time. And I know everybody thinks that, but I honestly do think that. I think we're a really balanced team, which is hard to defend. And we just got to keep doing what we're doing. Right, yeah. No, BA has a big catch radius. Like I said, he's one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life. Fantastic football player. And, if there's a chance to get it to him, it's probably going his way. Oh, shit. Hell yeah, let's go. I haven't done that since high school. So, that's probably not ideal, but we won, like I said. So, yeah, I don't know, I guess.
That was a planned draw, that one, right?
Yeah. I mean, me, I can scoot a little bit, but I'm not crazy. I don't know. We won, and like I said, we're balanced, right? So we let Braylon run the ball, we let Tim run the ball, we let everybody run the ball. Yeah, just first of all, securing the ball. If I do get sacked, right? I know the O-line's busting their ass, but sometimes it happens, right? Secured the ball and felt that I was free, and then Keandre did a great job. I believe that's the one you're talking about. Keandre did a great job coming back and finding me, and then he had a big run after the catch. So, yeah, that one did feel good. Y'all guys know me. I don't care. If we win, I think Matt is a fantastic quarterback just as well. And this is a team sport, right? It's the ultimate team game. So if there's a way to get him on the field like we've been doing with 2 quarterbacks the last couple of weeks, or just letting him go, I don't care. I'll sit there and signal in everything for him. And if when we win the game, I'm the happiest guy ever. I've been telling people for years, Dom's a dog, man. I think he had 3 tackles tonight, which ideally you probably don't want your punter to have any tackles. But I think his last tackle was probably his biggest one, right? It for sure saved an explosive return, potentially a touchdown. And I think that's just what you get with Dom. He's going to be a hard worker, and he's going to put it where he should. And like I said, he's going to make the play when it comes up.
From QB1 Dane Evans right to QB2, Matthew Shiltz spoke to the media. He had a decent game himself, 7 of 10 for 44 yards through the air. Also added 42 yards, including a big 30-yard rush. Here's what he said after the game.
Definitely. But at the end of the day, it's getting a big win against a Eastern Division opponent and protecting the logo at home. Anytime we play in front of the home crowd here, really want to get a win. So that was huge tonight for us. Yeah, definitely. That's a big thing that we've been stressing the last couple of weeks is finishing and coming out of halftime with, purpose. And I felt like we did that. Obviously, there's always going to be things to clean up, but it's definitely something that we're growing towards the right direction. And I was just really proud of the way the guys fought all night. They really dug deep there in the fourth, especially the defense coming up big. So all-around team win. Special teams was great too. So really proud of the guys. I don't. I'm just trying to stay ready, whenever my number's called. that's something I've always, taken pride in, especially being a backup. And you never know when your opportunity is going to come, whether it's a few plays here and there, or God forbid something happens to the starter where you have to go in and play the full game. So I just try and stay ready for whenever my number is called and do whatever I can to help the team. Yeah, I hate to go back to the same thing, but again, it's just going in whenever your number is called and being ready. Try and give a spark here and there and keep the guys going. So, yeah, just years of experience, I guess, being in that position and just staying locked in on the sideline, getting the calls, going through my reads even from the sideline, and communicating with the guys on the sideline, personnel groupings, all that stuff. It's just little things that, you can do on the sideline to not only help the guys on the field, but help the guys on the sideline and kind of make it smooth operation. Oh, I mean, Dane, I can't say enough good things about Dane. And we go back a few years because we've been training together down in Texas a bit. So our relationship has been more than just this, off season and into this season training camp and first how many ever games we've had. And we're communicating all week. We're in there watching film. We're talking about how we see things differently. And we have really good conversations, in the film room and even out on the field, and we keep each other accountable. So that relationship is just incredible. And Dane is just a heck of a guy. I can't say enough good things. I don't know. I'm not going to guess or, put any words in anybody's mouth. But, when they presented the opportunity for me to come here, I mean, it's a great organization, and I've been able to see what they've done from afar, obviously on the other side in Montreal. But I know it's a first-class organization, and the guys that the front office and Coach O bring into this locker room, what kind of people they are first before they're football players, and it's something that we really connected on. So any way I could just kind of fit into the culture here and do whatever I can just to help the team, that's what I wanted to do.
That is Matthew Shiltz speaking to the media after the game, and one more piece of sound post-game. Let's hear from Cam Kelly. He did that big interception at the goal line to close out the game. Here's what he said afterwards.
Montreal, they're a great team. We'll see them again soon. We just want to do whatever we can do to win and keep winning. I mean, it just felt like a football game, Those big moments come, and, I know everybody on our defense feels like they can make the play and they want to make the play. So, we just want to win. Oh, yeah. I mean, CB had a great game. I'm glad we got him back, making a bunch of plays. Our DBs, we're flying around. Our linebackers are getting great drops and, blitzing good. And our D-line is getting a lot of pressure. Everything got to work as one. The DBs can't do anything unless we're getting pressure. And, it's hard to get pressure unless we're playing lockdown defense in the back. It makes it easier, when those guys – yeah, I mean, when those guys are up front eating and they started, from the beginning and, you get it in the opposing quarterback's mind that, we're going to be trying to get pressure all night, it helps us out because it slows down his reads down the field, hopefully. I was just back in position, said a little prayer before the play, hoping God will bless me since I dropped, the 1-2 plays before that. And then, I just seen the ball in the air and I just wanted to go make my play.
And for more on last night's game, very pleased to be joined by the man who called it right here on the Ticats Audio Network alongside Luke Tasker. He's RJ Broadhead. And RJ, I love playing the clips of the last play of the game. A, because it always comes down to the last play. And B, you always get the same reaction out of Luke Tasker. Wow.
Yeah, he has had a lot of wows at the end of the game. This was a positive one. But, hey, it's the entertainment business. When it was 24-6 for the Tiger Cats with just over 6 minutes to go in the game, it was boring, right? Like the lead was too good. So let's make it close. Let's make it exciting. But I think all of us that are hoping the Tiger Cats get a victory would like an easy one, would like a nice relaxing victory here at some point this season. 2 victories. So hopefully more to come, but it would be nice to have one where you kind of know it's going to happen.
Yeah, 24-6, it looked like the game had the potential to do that. And I saw some people going after Dane on Twitter after the game, and that's probably why you should avoid Twitter at all times, but especially after a game. Even after a win, people like to get negative. But I thought he was effective. And there's a lot of plays in that game where, Stephen Dunbar doesn't make that fumble. Does the game open up a little bit? And that's why this Ticats team has always been talking about, hey, there's that one play that seems to bite us in the butt. This time it didn't.
Yeah, so let's start with Dane Evans. He was very good. It was an interesting offensive concept where all three quarterbacks got action. Congratulations to Jamie Newman on his first CFL touchdown. Matt Shiltz, you kind of had a feeling he'd be more involved in the offense against his former club, Montreal, and he was the leading rusher with 42 yards. Dane Evans did not throw an interception for the second time this season, and he had his second best quarterback efficiency percentage. So when he was on the field, he was effective. And you're right about the play that Stephen Dunbar fumbled. You can't blame him for that fumble. That was a hard hit from Mike Jones. But you're right. They would have got another score, 3 at the very least, but it flipped the game, and Montreal got 8 points off of that turnover. Their only touchdown, they got the 2-point conversion, and that really put them back in the game. So that criticism, I think, is a little bit unfair. I think it's just impatient fans. They want to see consistent offense. They want to see the offense be like the defense. Like, really, the defense was amazing. I was driving home after that game thinking, that is one of the best defensive performances I've seen from the Tiger Cats in these last 2 seasons, and they've had some good ones, so that's saying a lot.
And we've talked about their secondary. I mean, we talked about their secondary going into the season. You bring in a guy, a 2-time Grey Cup champion like Alden Darby, and you're like, okay, you bring back Richard Leonard. And then, for 6 games, we're still talking about how good the secondary is. And then Carriel Brooks comes back, and you're like, oh, wow, I forgot they could be that good.
Yeah, and his timing. The great players always seem to have the timing at the right moments. Those knockdowns, 2 in a row on Eugene Lewis when it looked like Montreal was threatening to score again. He wound up with 4 knockdowns, and you never know how a player, this is the 7th game of the season. Everybody's been playing, and Carriel Brooks has been on the sidelines with an injury, but it looked like he had not missed a beat. There were 11 knockdowns by the Tiger Cats in the game. Every starter in the secondary had at least 1. Dane Evans had 4 to lead the team. So those 11 knockdowns, to put that into perspective, the most the Tiger Cats had in the game previously this season was 4. So they were on those Trevor Harris passes and knocking them down. And then, of course, Cam Kelly got his team-leading 3rd interception, and that was timely as well because they were right there, very close, 8-yard line, and they needed that interception. So that ended the game, and it all ended well for the Tiger Cats.
Yeah, and Coach has said that. Dane has said that. Players have said that. They need that. Dane, I love how Dane phrases it. We just got to do it. And he always emphasizes do it. Like, now that we've done it, now we got to go out there and do it. So yeah, they've done it, and that's win the game in the 4th quarter. Again, they haven't done it twice. They've done it twice. What's been the difference, RJ? You've seen every game. You've seen every minute. What's the difference?
Yeah, well, actually, they did lose the 4th quarter. They won the 3rd quarter for the first time this season, and another 4th quarter turnover turns into points. So that's they're now up to, I think it's 53 points off of turnovers allowed in the 4th quarter. So it's still not perfect.
Yeah,
but to me, it was the defense. The defense really, really stepped up and almost put the game on their shoulders. And when Montreal had a lot of opportunities, they either held them to 3, especially early in the game, or were able to prevent them from getting a touchdown late in the game. And was the Stavros Katsantonis hit on Trevor Harris for the Tiger Cats, did it turn into a good penalty? Like, you don't want to see anyone hurt, but Trevor Harris leaving the game, and Dominic Davis, who's thrown 2 passes all season, coming into that, and then 4th quarter, 8 seconds to go, or whatever it was last play of the game, 1 play, and he comes in, he wasn't warming up on the sideline, so it kind of worked out, and Cam Kelly made the great interception. Trevor Harris there, who knows what would have happened.
And I mean, there's precedent, right? I mean, first game of the season, it was in Winnipeg where the MOP was pulled from the game, not the last play of the game for sure. Right. And again, Stavros Katsantonis is probably going to hear it this week, either from maybe a CFL fine department or at least in the meeting rooms, because you can't be taking that penalty in the 4th quarter. And you mentioned it, being outscored 11-0 in the 4th quarter. It's a long week for the Ticats, but the Argos are up next. How do you feel like they're going to approach this week with a huge game against the Argos next Saturday?
Well, it'll be, I think the Argos play Ottawa on Sunday, so that will be a huge game. But hey, Tiger Cats needed this victory. That'll give them a little bit of momentum. This is the season. We've talked about it, Louie, since probably game 1 or 2 of the season, that when these middle 6 games come up, the Tiger Cats have to raise their level. They have to be playing great football, and they have to get the victories. I was on Luke Tasker on Ticats this week to say it was a must-win against Montreal. He wouldn't bite because technically he's right. If they lost, it's not the end of the season. But they would have needed help from other teams. So this was a huge victory. You want to finish in the top 2. Now they don't have to think about second place. They've got 4 of the next 5 games against the Argos. So first place in the East Division will come down to those 4 games.
Both have a mutual respect, I think, for Mike Domagala. We were talking about it before we came on here. He came up huge in that game, some big punts, and again, you outkick a future Hall of Famer, Canadian Football Hall of Famer. John Ryan's got to get in for his NFL success, you have to think. You outkick him, you better make plays like that. And Mike Domagala had himself a heck of a game.
Did he ever? And you're right. We were both big fans of Michael Domagala, and he does whatever the team asks. And I see him as, down the road, he's punting so well. I can see him doing both jobs for the Tiger Cats in the next year or two, both the kicker and the punter. But those tackles were, we'll say touchdown savers. You never know if it would have been taken to the house or not. But 3 tackles by your punter is never what you want to see. But kudos to Michael Domagala for making those tackles and preventing what could have been better field position or maybe even scores for Montreal.
And they weren't like, they weren't
pushing him out of bounds. They were actually tackles.
He really earned the stat in the category, right? And,
absolutely.
He was great. And you're great too, RJ. So thanks for doing this. Enjoy your weekend. Wow. A weekend with a holiday attached on the end of it. I don't know the feeling, but I'm sure I would be jealous if I knew what that was. So enjoy, my friends.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like a bye week, but not a bye week because Tiger Cats don't play until Saturday. But always good talking with you, Louie.
I'm sure Luke Tasker's already in Myrtle Beach. Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Thanks for doing this, RJ. Enjoy your weekend.
Okay, Louie, you too.
My thanks to RJ Broadhead for joining me, and he's going to have a good weekend himself. He told me that he is off to a local brewery. So he's getting a start to his weekend, his long weekend in style. And I hope you do the same. And hey, maybe if you're in the Niagara neck of the woods, you can stop by Bench Brewing, maybe pick up a couple of cans of Lincoln Lager, including a new 2022 special edition cans. So nobody paid me to say that, by the way. So if Bench wants to send me some beers for talking about how good their beers are, I would be more than welcome to accept that gift. Anyway, that's it for us this week. I hope you have a great long weekend, no matter what you're doing. But take us with you, the Ticats Audio Network. There's lots of great content. You can listen to last night's game again. You can listen to the post game. Lots of stuff. Take us with you wherever you go on the Ticats Audio Network. Find us wherever you get your podcasts. Again, hope you have a great weekend. We're back on Monday. From all of us here at the Ticats Audio Network, I'm Louie Butko. Have a great civic holiday weekend.
Ticats Today can be heard every weekday, and we would like to hear from you. Email us at gameday@ticats.ca. Have a question or an opinion? We want to hear it. That's gameday@ticats.ca. Subscribe to the Ticats Audio Network on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.